Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Synsei Inc. And today I am back with another One Piece video. Now today I want to talk about something a bit different because I have usually spoken about Zoro and the story, but I want to talk about some potential fights that some people may not be thinking about. Now when we talk about the path of becoming the world's strongest swordsman, a lot of times people bring up the argument that Zoro hasn't fought enough swordsmen in general. And I would like to say I disagree with that take because as long as Zoro is fighting strong individuals, he's still growing. So they don't necessarily have to be swordsmen. With that in mind, today I will talk about everyone Zoro could potentially fight before Mihawk. But before we get into the video, if you've made it this far, I just want to say that I love and appreciate all of you. And if you want to like the video, I'd appreciate that as well. The like goal for this video will be 500 likes. And if we could get there, I'd appreciate that. Also, if you want more One Piece content like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Let's get into the video. So when we're talking about Zoro versus Mihawk, I think a lot of times a big question people bring up is, well, when will it happen? And I've discussed this with my brother and some of my peers a bunch of times, but I really do believe that the Mihawk and Zoro fight is going to be either the last fight in the story or just happen during an epilogue or after the final war. And I'll explain my mindset on that. So the biggest issue is, when will Zoro have time? We already know that we're reaching the end times of One Piece and we're kind of moving into an entirely different era of just endgame things in One Piece in general. With that being said, it's pretty difficult for Zoro to just find time to leave and branch off from the crew and to go fight Mihawk. The too long don't read version of this is that they're going to be involved in too many different things for Zoro to have the time to make a side mission to go fight Mihawk. Also, I just don't think he's ready yet. But in the meantime, he can fight certain individuals while he's traveling with the crew, while they're taking on different obstacles in order to grow and get ready for Mihawk at the end of the story. Now, the first people that I want to bring up are people that we all kind of think Zoro has potential to fight. We're in Wano now, so the first one will be King. King the Wildfire is someone that some people have different opinions on Zoro fighting. I've seen some people get upset when you bring up Zoro versus King. They feel like him going from Kaido down to King is a downgrade. And I'll give my opinion on that very briefly. Do I think there's potential for Zoro to take this magic medicine from Zo to get up and to go back with Luffy to fight Kaido again? Yes, there's potential for that to happen, and we'll talk about that soon. However, him fighting King to me is not a downgrade because he has literally went from blocking a combo attack between two Yonkos. Yes, Law helped. Then he scars Kaido, the second man, to do so. And for him to do all of these things and then beat a first commander like King, especially if he beats him convincingly, to me isn't a downgrade. I think that just speaks for how powerful Zoro is. So I won't say that it's a downgrade in my honest opinion. However, I don't think that we can count him out fighting Kaido either. And that's the next person on this list. So Kaido and Zoro's fight or altercation or round two, whatever you want to say, is something that some people that have been believing in the ZKK theory have been talking about for a while now. Now, when Zoro ends up scarring him and Kaido says, you know, that's enough for you to get my respect, or he didn't say that verbatim, but that's basically what he was implying. A lot of people were saying, well, ZKK is dead. Do I think that their theory is dead? Well, my opinion on it doesn't truly matter. Do I think that ZKK is happening at this point? I'm leaning more towards a no. However, I don't think that we can count them out, and people that believe and are pushing this theory until it doesn't happen. There are a lot of different parallels. There are some foreshadowings that would make sense for Zoro to fight Kaido. Whether he defeats him or kills him, that's up for Oda to decide. And quite frankly, I don't care either way. But I will say that him fighting Kaido is a possibility. Remember, this is everyone Zoro could potentially fight before Mihawk, not who he's definitely going to win against. Just fight, which could end up being a clash that leads to a tie, could end up being a clash that leads to both parties just kind of dispersing, or it could be Zoro losing or winning. The next person on the list is someone else that a lot of people speculate Zoro could get a kind of reclash or rematch with, and that is Admiral Fujitora. Now, during Dressrosa, they had their little clash encounter. The little gravity stuff got done on Zoro. He gets out of it. but it wasn't much of anything. It wasn't much of a fight, but a lot of people try to push this narrative that Zoro was fighting evenly with Fujitora, which is completely asinine in my opinion. Fujitora was not fighting to his full extent. He wasn't trying to really defeat or kill anyone. He was just trying to basically keep the peace as well as he could, but he couldn't really intervene the way he wanted to. That's the point. If he was fighting 100% with his devil fruit and his abilities, Zoro at that point would have lost. It is what it is. I'm sorry. However, I do think that Zoro was at a place now where he could fight Fujitora and things would go a bit differently. Now, what are the reasons for him fighting Fujitora? Well, besides the fact that they've clashed before in Dressrosa, there's the obvious Fujitora has a sword, he's a swordsman. And I guess that's the most cliche and obvious reason why people bring up Fujitora and Zoro getting a rematch. But I like to think it's the sportsmanship in it for Zoro. If you remember the Baratier arc and how Zoro treated his altercation with Mihawk, it seems that he respects, lives, and breathes swordsmanship so much that it's kind of just a respect thing. Fujitora is a powerful individual and he's a swordsman. It seems that he lives the way of the sword, in my opinion. And I think that Zoro would want a chance to fight him again purely just out of growing, becoming stronger, fighting stronger opponents, specifically swordsmen. But their clash in Dressrosa is the nail in the coffin for me. I just want to see what would happen if a stronger Zoro refought Fujitora. Now, from this point on, some of these matchups are either a bit odd, a bit far-fetched, or some things that I haven't heard too often in the community. So the first two individuals I'll bring up are Ben Beckman and Shanks. Now, Ben Beckman, obvious reasons for him fighting Ben Beckman. Shanks and Luffy may fight. Ben Beckman is like the partner to Shanks. Zoro's like the partner to Luffy. There's an obvious reason for them to clash there. It also makes sense for Zoro to fight someone as powerful as Ben Beckman, in my opinion, just for Oda to show us how powerful Zoro has become and where he's at in correlation to Mihawk. Now, the Shanks situation's a little bit different and a little interesting to me because Shanks and Mihawk have had fated duels. Now, Whitebeard talks about one of the duels that went down in history and everyone remembers, and that to me means that Shanks and Mihawk are very relative to strength, in my honest opinion. So Zoro clashing with Shanks is probably the ultimate pretest to Mihawk. If Zoro can potentially best Shanks, or even if he can take Shanks to an extreme difficult fight, I think that would let us know okay, Zoro is ready. Shanks could be the final test before Mihawk, and I think that would be so interesting. Now, I know a lot of people would probably hate this because I know everyone wants Luffy to beat Shanks, and that's probably what's going to happen. But what if, and hear me out, if Zoro doesn't beat Shanks or doesn't have a full out brawl with Shanks, but he has a clash with Shanks, just kind of showing us where his strength is at. Luffy will definitely undoubtedly be the one to defeat Shanks if Shanks doesn't end up losing and dying to Blackbeard. So I'm not trying to say that Zoro is going to take that shine away or anything. I'm just saying it would be cool if Zoro and Shanks got the clash, just so we can kind of see where Zoro's at, you know? Another interesting person that Zoro could fight, in my honest opinion, is Kijuru. Now, my brother brought this up to me and I thought that this was actually pretty cool. He explained to me that Akainu and Kijuru have a kind of right hand kind of mentality, right? Kijuru's always there with him, always willing to do things for him, even though he's very lax in nature. This is shown to us during the time that they had their whole discussion about Kijuru potentially going to Wano. We see that Kijuru is loyal to Akainu, and my brother brought up maybe if there's a situation where Luffy is fighting Akainu, that Zoro would have to get involved because Kijuru might try to stop Luffy or get involved in that fight. I think that Zoro fighting someone like Kijuru would be awesome. There's also potential for Sanji to fight Kijuru though, especially since this whole light speed thing got brought up. And then, the raid suit in the anime is said to be light speed, and Kijuru said, have you ever been kicked at light speed or to Hawkins before he completely obliterated his face? But I mean, I still think it would be interesting to see if Zoro could actually best someone like Kijuru, because we've seen people fight Kijuru, we've seen at Marineford Mako fight him, but the interesting thing is Rayleigh fought him. Now Rayleigh is the right hand to Roger, right? The right hand to Luffy is Zoro, so perhaps him and Zoro fighting makes some type of sense, especially after the Sabaody situation, right? Maybe Zoro wants to get back at Kijuru for how things happen. If you remember, Usopp was shooting at Kijuru and he almost killed the Straw Hats, right? Kijuru was just going crazy. But I think Zoro getting an opportunity to kind of get back at Kijuru will be so cool to see and just feel justified. Now, this next person I was thinking about is actually someone that I think Zoro wouldn't have a lot of trouble with. However, it would be so cool for the narrative, and that is Tashigi. Tashigi and Zoro's fight could be beautiful because of how Kuina ended up dying, right? Now, Kuina did die falling down the stairs, so, you know, insert stair jokes here in the comment section. But I think what's important about Kuina's character is how she was speaking about being a woman. That because she was a woman, she could never be the world's strongest swordsman, just because, you know, of how muscle mass and bodies work. Tashigi could kind of fill the role of Kuina and like be a actual opponent that could stand up to Zoro, and I think that would be so cool. The problem is I don't see Tashigi, you know, boosting her strength that much in a short amount of time. I just don't think it'll happen. But I do think that they could have a fight that is more thematic, and that can make it just as awesome as if like Tashigi was strong in fighting Zoro. But I do believe the true beauty and the potential of the Tashigi fight would just be what Kuina was saying about being a woman and being a swordsman, especially since Tashigi kind of is like filling that role. And I think Zoro might see some of Kuina and Tashigi, so it's interesting. Now, there's someone I didn't mention earlier in the video, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna come clean. I just forgot, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. But the person that, you know, of the hour that I forgot is Shiryu, right? So Shiryu of the Rain, a lot of people want to see him and Zoro fight. A lot of people speculate him and Zoro will fight. There's really no ties to like Shiryu and Zoro, except for they may potentially be the second strongest on the crew. Well, we know Zoro's the second strongest, but Shiryu could potentially be the second strongest on Blackbeard's crew, and Shiryu has a sword. There's really no other connections to them fighting, which is probably why I forgot about it. I'll be honest. I'd probably rather see Shiryu fight Sanji just because Shiryu has Absalon's fruit, which was the fruit that Sanji wanted, and they both can turn invisible. So I think that would be really cool to see, like a stealthy fight. But hey, you know, whatever. Shiryu has a sword, so I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. You guys want to see Shiryu and Zoro fight? Hey, whatever. But either way, I'm fine with it. I don't have an issue with Shiryu fighting Zoro. I just honestly forgot about it because I'm not super excited to see that fight. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. And last but not least, someone that I have to throw in there because my brother did mention them and I thought it was pretty funny. I'll be honest, was Helmeppo. So my brother said Helmeppo and I was like, man, Zoro's gonna clap Helmeppo, right? But I think it would be, but I do think it would be funny to see Zoro just, you know, body Helmeppo. And I do believe my brother brought him up just because of the whole Kobe and Luffy's like kind of rivalry that they have, and Helmeppo being like the right hand of, you know, Kobe and stuff like that. So it's fine. It's not anything I'm excited to see, right? But it's something that I think has, you know, potential to be pretty funny. So I'm not mad at it. Next up on the list is something awesome that I didn't even think about till my brother mentioned it. And that was a Kaku rematch. With Kaku being in the CP0, I think that definitely means he's gotten stronger. And if we see a Lucci versus Luffy rematch, yo, we gotta see the Kaku versus Zoro rematch. I mean, Kaku got the swords, you feel me? Might have got stronger. That would be fire. If we get to see like some like Rio coming from Kaku, like, I don't know, bro, that would be hard. And last but not least, the bald guy in the Gorosei. I don't know this dude's name. I don't think he has a name yet, but he does have like a really cool sword apparently, and he looks different than the rest of the Gorosei. He got the gi on, he looking all fly and all that. But I definitely would love to see Zoro fight this guy. Like, bro, imagine this guy has to fight like during the final war. He comes out swinging with this sword, makes this shockwave or something crazy. He about to hit Luffy and Zoro just says, yo, stop playing. Boom, blocks it. Like, come on, that would be crazy. I think all in all, though, what's important about these altercations is that Zoro should fight stronger opponents on his way to Mihawk to keep growing. He does train off screen and things like that physically, but I think the fighting experience and the hockey blooms are what will take Zoro to a whole nother level and actually help him prepare for the Mihawk fight. I think that's what I really do want to see out of these fights. Hopefully he does get to fight other people in the meantime. It doesn't necessarily have to 100% happen. I know he's going to fight some people, but I know he's not 100% fighting all these people I mentioned, right? These are just some candidates. But I want to know what you guys think about these. And if you have any people that you think I forgot that Zoro could fight, please let me know down in the comment section below. Also, my Discord link is down there as well. Make sure you click that and join the Synsei Grand Fleet server. And as always, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these trying times. This has been Synsei Inc., and I will see you all in the next video.